Hi everyone, my name is Megan Tobin, and for my culminating project, I have been assigned a social scenario, and my scenario is the prisoner's dilemma. So basically, the prisoner's dilemma is a sort of paradox in decision analysis. I know I had already heard about this in econ. Um, you talk a lot about game theory and microeconomics, and so I had already heard of this. But basically, it's where two individuals acting in their own self interests don't result in the optimal outcome, as opposed to if they had acted in interests of the entire group, not just themselves. So the prisoner's dilemma is set up in such a way that both parties opt to protect themselves at the expense of the other participant. So as a result, both participants find themselves in a worse state than if they had cooperated with each other in the first place. So our two ladies, Jen and Lisa, get arrested. Let's just say they robbed a bank. So now Lisa and Jen have been put in separate isolation cells. So now a prosecutor has to make the two ladies an offer. He says to both of them, "You may confess, or you may choose to remain silent. If you confess and your accomplice remains silent, I will drop all charges against you and use your testimony to ensure that your accomplice does some serious time. If your accomplice confesses and you remain silent, they will go free and you will do the time. If you both confess, you'll both get convicted, but I'll see to it that you both get early parole. If you both remain silent, then I'll have to settle for small sentences on minor charges." So the prisoner's dilemma stipulates that personal interest seems more desirable, but it can often lead to a worse result if both the parties involved are acting in self-interest. It's in Jen's best interest to plead guilty if Lisa pleads not guilty, and vice versa, but since they're separated and aren't allowed to talk to each other, it's impossible to know who's going to say what. And for both Lisa and Jen, it's going to be their natural tendencies to act in self-interest and plead not guilty. So this, of course, is a pretty extreme example. In everyday life, most of us aren't faced with a decision like this because most of us do not commit such intense crimes. But in a general sense, the prisoner's dilemma represents exchange situations, which in the real world occur under much more flexible situations. The actual prison jail time example is not a very flexible condition. You can't take back what you say, and your life kind of depends on it. But under more flexible conditions in the real world, both partners get to make choices, and every now and then they can undo their choices. The prisoner's dilemma really represents a situation in which people do business, exchanging money, products, services, to find one of those things that is more desirable to the other than to the self.